On this edition of Native Report, we travel to the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin to meet Elder Twila Cassador, a member of the I Collective, an Indigenous group of chefs and cooks.
We then revisit the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin's Hemp project.
And then we learn why the construction of an outdoor lacrosse box is of such importance to the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin.
We also learn what we can do to lead healthier lives and hear from our elders on this edition of Native Report.
Production of Native Report is made possible by grants from the Blandin Foundation, the Duluth Superior Area Community Foundation, and the Shakopee Mdewakanton Sioux Community.
Thanks for tuning in and welcome to Native Report. I'm Ernie Stevens.
And I'm Rita Aspinwall. The I Collective is an autonomous group of Indigenous chefs, activists, herbalists, seed and knowledge keepers who strive to highlight Indigenous contributions in gastronomy, agriculture, the arts, and society at large. Members prepared an evening meal at the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin's annual Food Sovereignty Summit, and we were honored to interview Elder Twila Cassador about the group and why food sovereignty is so important.
For the hundreds of attendees to the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin's Food Sovereignty Summit, the daytime hours may have been spent attending breakout sessions or going on field trips, but the evening hours were filled with an abundance of food and festivity. One such after-hours event featured a culinary showcase of traditional foods prepared by members of the I Collective.
I got involved with I Collective in 2015 when they had a NACA conference, which is a Native American Culinary Association conference out in Tucson, Arizona. We were invited because I'm a forager, I harvest, and so I went over there as a presenter, then I got to go in the kitchen, I got to meet all these amazing people, and I just fell in love right there, and there I am. The items I brought from home I'm serving today is a desert yucca banana fruit, and it's going to be glazed with pumpkin seeds and desert yucca seeds. The yucca banana is grown all over the Southwest. It's very abundant, but some people are very unfamiliar with it, but it's free. It's out there, it grows every season, and it's just so abundant. Serving that along with emery oak acorn, which is a staple for most Apache people in my communities and in southwestern Arizona, as well as roasted barbecue corn from the White Mountain area, which is grown along the riverbeds, along with with deer jerky and grass-fed beef jerky.
Twila was joined by Christina Stanley, Hillel Ekohak, Britt Reed, and Tashia Hart, who all prepared dishes inspired by their Apache, Choctaw, Pawnee, Athabascan, and Ojibwe roots.
I love working with these women. These women are amazing. They come from many different backgrounds. They're from, how you say, advocating, the legal work, the food justice, everything that's making it possible for us to do what we do without having to face barriers, and actually seeing that we do have a voice and what food we want to see our children eat, like in the school system, allowing traditional food brought in the healthcare system, which in my community is doing. They're serving it in the healthcare system 1 day out of the week. They're allowing traditional food to be brought to the table without having to deal with all the red tape and all this USDA thing. They're actually finding ways to allow our food back in, which is actually more nurturing to people that are in a healthcare facility. It's like comfort food, and not only that, it's just like, wow, I haven't had that for a while. And you see the excitement in their face, like, I didn't know this place could serve traditional foods. We've always been told you have to follow this food pyramid. You have to have this many nutrients in you. You have to have this USDA, all these approved food, but yet we have an ocean of food. I mean, people call it food desert. I said, it's not a food desert, it's food. I mean, it's never Taco Tuesday. You always have a change in diet every season. You go from hundreds of food that are out there, but teaching people and bringing it into here, and especially with these guys and seeing their food, it's like, wow, this is amazing. So when you get to see the dish that we have, you're gonna love it.
Having native chefs and knowledge keepers prepare a gourmet meal of traditional foods only makes sense since this is a food sovereignty summit. And these prepared dishes are healthy for you as they contain no preservatives or genetically modified ingredients.
Just reclaiming our own food and allowing us to be who we are before colonization came along and changed the whole diet. And so our diet was already balanced. It was already there, you know, keeping you healthy, strong, and has everything that science is proving today that, oh, we discovered. I'm like, we've been living it. When you were a forager and a harvester and you're big, you know, out there hunting game, you were considered poor because you could not buy food. So that concept really changed people's way of life and thinking about traditional food when people were so wealthy in that knowledge, where if you could not no longer buy it, you were considered somewhat poor. But now that concept is flipping a coin over, where it's just like, okay, we're, reclaiming our way of life again. We don't have to say it's poor people's food. It's our food. We're proud of this food. We're proud to say that, yes, this provides all these nutrients in it. And we have scientific data to even prove that, even though we don't need scientific data. Like, why do we need scientific data? It's already been a proven fact from beginning of time. But having to label it in this world, today's world, you have to have data, which is unfortunate. But why do we need data? Why do we need to have this pyramid when we already had, you know, this is everything that's brought over, and I believe it's geared towards profiting on the food industry. And for me, it's very empowering to take this home also, to share this knowledge that everybody's actually really carrying throughout this whole continent, and seeing this empowerment, especially among, even for women, us here. You see a lot of us here, and like, how often do you get to cook with a whole group of Indigenous women in one place? We have a voice in what we want on our table. And that's what I love what these women are doing, is allowing, as well as a whole lot of other people that are out there really voicing for the next generation that this is our food.
Tooth decay and gum disease are two of the most common diseases of modern civilization. Decay happens when teeth are attacked by acid products from oral bacteria. Taking care of your teeth is important, and good dental care should start in childhood. Good oral health is not difficult, but it does take good habits and discipline. The first set of teeth is almost completely formed at birth and are hidden under the gums. These first teeth are important as they help babies chew and help them talk. They hold the space where the permanent teeth will come in and help them come in straight. The first teeth come in at around 6 months of age. Cleaning them with a soft washcloth until they erupt enough to brush with a soft toothbrush will help babies get used to regular dental care. Use water for brushing for children age 2 or younger, and toothpaste after that. Going to sleep with a bottle can leave juice or milk in contact with teeth and cause baby bottle tooth decay. The first dental visit should be by 1 year of age, and children should be taught to brush regularly. As they get older, brushing twice a day and flossing once daily are the goals. There is thought to be a link between poor dental health and an increased risk of strokes and heart attacks. This is not proven, but inflammation is part of hardening of the arteries, or atherosclerosis. Gum disease allows bacteria to spread below the gum line and into the bloodstream. This causes inflammation, and it isn't a big jump to connect the two. Plaque on your teeth leads to gum disease. This is an infection of the tissues that support and keep your teeth healthy. Gum disease can cause your teeth to become loose over time. This can lead to cavities and dental abscesses, and all of this is avoidable with good dental habits. Sugary foods and sweet drinks lead to tooth decay. They also increase the risks of getting diabetes or worsen blood sugars for someone who is already diabetic. Non-traditional tobacco use increases the risk for getting oral and throat cancers. Both chewing tobacco and smoking increase the risk, and so does alcohol use. Poor self-esteem comes from poor teeth. When your teeth aren't clean, you can have bad breath, and that makes social interactions uncomfortable. Bad or missing teeth can make you smile less, and that can affect applying for a job, going to school, and even how you see yourself. My very good dentist recommends dental cleaning and a dental exam every 6 months, and this is the standard recommendation. Going longer than 6 months allows plaque to harden, and that can trap more bacteria and cause problems. If you have mouth or tooth pain, you should see a doctor or a dentist. The longer you wait, the worse this can get. Your teeth were meant to last a lifetime. With good dental habits and regular dental visits, they will. Remember to call an elder. They've been waiting for your call. I'm Dr. Arnie Vinio, and this is Health Matters.
In Season 14 of Native Report, we reported on the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin's Hemp project, which at that time had to be fully implemented. During the intervening summer months, the nation planted some 32 acres of industrial-grade hemp. This is still considered a pilot project, but all indicators are pointing to a greener future for the Oneida Nation. One of the more heavily attended breakout sessions at the Oneida Nation's Food Sovereignty Summit addressed a promising new door to economic opportunity for Native nations, the production of industrial hemp for commercial purposes.
I started farming in 2006. It was for hemp seed. That was the original inspiration for my business. Hemp seed has the same protein and fat profile as most meat. It's almost identical to salmon, actually. So I foresee a coming protein shortage. We know that we've overfished the ocean. 95% of the fish stocks are down. We know the buffalo no longer roam as they used to. So from the very beginning, to me, hemp has represented a food source that can almost be a meat replacer. Fiber has also been something I've sold, a marketable part of the hemp plant. We have crossed from food and fiber production, which are very crucial foundational things, into this territory of plant medicine.
Hemp is a tool for self-determination. It'll never be the silver bullet, but I think that is a part of that solution that we talk about. And I think that hemp, in terms of what we can do for economies, it's a new opportunity in the sense that we already have all these existing economies. We have gaming, we have oil, and all these things like that. Hemp is a new thing where that it never really took off to the extent that it should have did in the 30s and in the first half of the 20th century, because there was no creativity, innovation, and advanced technology. And now we have all this stuff to where we can actually create products that can be used for over 50,000 different uses. So I think that now is the right time for tribes to enter in and actually be a part of the hemp industry and actually be a leader in the industry.
In response to the 2018 Farm Bill, the Oneida Nation, as well as other Native nations, have ventured into the realm of hemp production. Still in its pilot phase, the Oneida Hemp Project is operating under Wisconsin law, but is currently drafting legislation to regulate hemp production.
We're being very methodical and trying to take advantage of all varieties, of major varieties, fiber, grain, and CBD, and see what works here in Oneida. This is Oregon cherry CBD plants. The leaf is probably pretty recognizable. The flowers probably started forming about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Since that time, they've expanded pretty significantly. This essentially is the section that we are most interested in from a CBD standpoint. There are some varieties of hemp out there, CBD hemp, where we can actually take advantage of the fiber that's in the stalk as well. When it comes to a point here in time, probably in the next few days actually, it's looking pretty good that we're going to start taking these plants out, hanging them to dry, and monitoring them. I believe the moisture content that we're looking at is about 10%. And then essentially we want to preserve the dried head, and then that's going to be our product that we'll be making available to a processor. So down in the field there's 1 acre of Oregon cherry as well. We planted the seeds in early June. They were, I think they were in the greenhouse for approximately three or 4 weeks, till they're about roughly 12 inches tall. Then we transplanted them into the raised beds here. That would have been in late July, and then from July until now, late September, that we've seen a significant growth. If we want to really maximize CBD concentration, the common technique is to remove all the males. And so over the last few weeks, we've been removing males from the hoop house to promote as much the CBD concentration as possible and eliminate as much pollination as we possibly can.
There is potential for the pilot project to be extended another year, or the nation can choose to submit its own plan to the USDA for approval. Right now, the nation is prioritizing with hemp fiber for the sake of research, community, and economic development.
There's been a significant amount of support. There are 2 or 3 main individuals on the council that have been probably the most supportive and really pushing the idea of trying to establish a hemp market or a hemp economy within Oneida as a way to diversify, some of the types of things that we're getting involved with. Obviously, there are concerns about budgeting and what kind of end result can we expect? What kind of return can we expect? How is the community as a whole going to benefit from hemp, the crop? And those are things that we're working on right now, and hopefully we'll be going after some grants to help with business planning and feasibility and so forth. But I think it seems to be the more people I talk to internally and externally, the more there seems to be a real desire to carry on in Oneida with hemp. There's some interesting project prospects for Wisconsin tribes to partner together, and possible cooperative type of ventures and things like that. So I'm hoping that the next few years will really pan out for hemp in tribal country.
I was always told to carry that understanding that corporate America or capitalism had its limits, because all it wanted to do is take and abuse. So systems were going to fail. They need people they need population growth in order to keep the system going. They need to ravage the earth of all its resources, and pretty soon there was going to be a reaction. For us, it was understanding that there were limits that Mother Nature had, and that we needed to come back to those processes and be able to start growing and taking care of ourselves. We're far too dependent on what we'll call is the responsibility of the federal government. What they really strip from us is our understanding that we have our own responsibility. We should be feeding ourselves at the very least. Some of us are in very difficult situations, but a lot of us have enough land. We have enough resources and space that we as people can do it.
The sport of lacrosse is also known as the creator's game and is a spiritual game played centuries ago for recreation or political reason. The sport of today is thriving, and for the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin, the build of an outdoor lacrosse box is of deep historical and spiritual significance. Join us now as we learn more about why it was built.
As the setting sun casts long shadows over the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin's Cora House Park, male voices and laughter can be heard coming from a newly built outdoor lacrosse box. This box is a symbol of sorts of the rebirth of lacrosse on the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin.
The way this started was when the creator was done making everything, he gave pretty much most of the native people lacrosse. The difference between field and box, field, the hits are a little bigger because they got more space to run. Box, there's more contact, but there's less injuries because people are closer. So box is more of a finesse game because you're more confined, so you have to be a lot better passer. So the box players are a lot better passer than most of the field players.
I grew up playing here on this reservation. It was kind of hard, it was sparse. It was hard to find, kids my age that were playing, organized in a sense, and I find a lot of them here and there, but for the most part it was me and my dad, because my dad grew up loving the sport, right? And he would always have me walking around. He'd carry a stick and I'd carry a stick. I had a wooden stick that was made from Alf Jacques over at Onondaga, so I grew up playing with a wooden stick, and that really hit home when I started to figure everything out and then started to take it in and, do more within the sport. As I got older and older, you start to find the kids that continued to play and took it on and didn't just use it as a form of a hobby, something they picked up. So growing up playing here was, prideful, because I come to find what our people, my people, Oneida Haudenosaunee, did to create the game.
Brickman went on to play lacrosse at Utica College in upstate New York, which is in the middle of Oneida lands in the state. He, along with Killebrew and several others, had been lobbying the tribal council for this lacrosse box to be built. Some work, however, still needs to be done.
So this is 80 by 180. We put it up probably about 2 months ago, waiting for a fencing contractor to finish it, and hopefully in a couple weeks that'll be done. So wherever you see the tall poles, we'll go up to 12 feet. So that way the balls stay in bounds a little more. This is gonna be a game site. Like out east, the churches wouldn't, like my wife's Osage, and they wouldn't let them dance. So they would secretly dance. Well, same thing out east, they wouldn't let them play lacrosse because they thought, well, they're getting ready for war. We don't want them getting ready for war, so we're gonna outlaw it. So they used to play with smaller sticks down in the basement of churches. So then when hockey came around, then they started playing in rinks like this out east. And we're slowly bringing back our ways from Oneida, Canada. We're originally from Oneida, New York. I always tell people about 2/3 of us came here with the church, the Episcopal Church. We actually made a stop in Lower Michigan, and then we made a stop here. And then they say we bought our reservation 3 times from the Menominee. And the first 2 times, the middleman ran away with the money.
It was a total group effort of multiple different people, and there was a lot of people that were able to help out in different ways and provide different aspects of how it could be built. And there were a couple that were able to drive it and continue it, because this has been talked about for quite some time. People wanted something like this, and then now, I don't know, we were just able to get it done. And it was cool because it wasn't just one person, and that's my favorite part about it, is that we were able to all come together as a collective group, provide different viewpoints, ways to think that we could get it to the best possible form of where we were at situationally right now.
Killebrew and Brickman both still play and hope it will increase the number of Oneida youth involved with the sport. They see lacrosse as a way to learn life skills and as a good way to stay out of trouble.
If you can play, come try it. It's a cross between soccer and hockey. With the Indigenous games, they have box lacrosse there, and 2 years ago when I went, they actually have 5 girls box lacrosse teams. So they're all padded up just like the boys, and they're playing boys' rules, and that's the way I got 2 daughters, and they're like, that's the only way I'll play, Dad. I'm not gonna play ladies' rules, field rules.
The whole point is that we want to get kids another avenue to just be busy, because I don't know, on our reservation it's a problem, and on many reservations I know that there's the drug problem that just starts to overlap a lot of things that are happening on the reservation, because it's a major concern. In our view, this is another avenue for kids to kind of get away from that and just figure out that there's better things in life, coming out on the lacrosse field, taking a few shots, playing with the boys, and just enjoying life. Because this is a major part of our culture, and I know most of the Oneidas that I've played with and are continuing to play love it very much for that reason. It's a sense of pride. There's just a major pride within there, and I can't think of a better word because it's a part of us. I want to get more kids out here playing, because in the end, that's what it's pretty much all about. If we can't help our kids, then what are we looking forward to, right? And that's what this is built for, the future.
For more information about Native Report or the stories we've covered, look for us on the web at nativereport.org, on Facebook, and on YouTube.
Thank you for spending this time with your friends and neighbors across Indian country. I'm Rita Aspinwall.
And I'm Ernie Stevens. Join us next time for another Native Report.
Rita Aspinwall is an enrolled member of the Fond du Lac Band of Lake Superior, Chippewa, and is an ICWA social worker with Fond du Lac Social Services. Ernie Stevens is a member of the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin and is a film and television producer. Production of Native Report is made possible by grants from the Blandin Foundation, the Duluth Superior Area Community Foundation, and the Shakopee-Mdewakanton Sioux Community.